Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Video of Torontonians rocking a parked vehicle out of TTC streetcar's path is circulating online as the city continues to grapple with the aftermath of back-to-back snowstorms. In videos taken by Abby Hansen and provided to Awaz News, a small group of people can be seen banding together to move a vehicle blocking the 506 Carlton streetcar from continuing its route near College Street and Ossington Avenue on February 20th. Siobhan Cremy told Awaz News that she was heading to a nearby bar to watch the Canada and US battle in the Four Nations face-off final when she saw the streetcar stopped outside. She said that a bystander later told her online that they had already been waiting for the streetcar to move for approximately 1 hour. Then she realized it was 10 people versus one car, might as well try, Crummy said. In the background of the video, someone can be heard shouting, "Not a good idea," as a handful of people circled the vehicle and started rocking it back and forth. It's going, another exclaims in the background. Seconds later, the TTC driver steps out of the streetcar to examine the path ahead, gauging whether or not he has enough room to continue driving. After a moment, streetcar driver nods his head and immediately after thumbs up, gestures are seen and cheers erupt. "It was crazy. I did not think it was going to work," Crummy said, but it did and it rocked. Crummy adds that a nearby store owner said they could hear their cheers from the street. TTC spokesperson Stuart Green confirmed to Awaz News the transit agency is aware of the video, adding it was one of the hundreds of similar incidents they have seen over the past week. A city spokesperson confirmed to Awaz News that with the major snowstorm condition in effect, all vehicles parked on snow routes, including streetcar routes, will be towed at the owner's expense and subjected to a fine of up to $200. Green said the TTC does not condone residents taking matters into their own hands and moving vehicles themselves as shown in the video, but he said it does speak to the frustration our customers feel when this happens. On Monday, Councillor Josh Matlow tabled an emergency motion at TTC's board meeting, calling for improved snow clearing along open sections on lines 1 and 2, higher accessibility standards at service stops, and steeper fines for motorists who block transit vehicles. Mayor Olivia Chow echoed those sentiments on Tuesday, calling for the city manager to conduct a fulsome review of Toronto's winter maintenance operations in what she's calling a slow response to February's snowstorms. Ukraine and US have reached an agreement on a framework for a broad economic deal that would include access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals, three senior Ukrainian officials said Tuesday. The officials who were familiar with the matter spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. One of them said that Kyiv hopes that signing the agreement will ensure the continued flow of US military support that Ukraine urgently needs. There was no immediate response to request for comment from the administration of US President Donald Trump. The agreement could be signed as early as Friday, and plans are being drawn up for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to travel to Washington to meet Trump, according to one of the Ukrainian officials. Another official said the agreement would provide an opportunity for Zelensky and Trump to discuss continued military aid to Ukraine, which is why Kyiv is eager to finalize the deal. According to one official, some technical details are still to be worked out. However, the draft does not include a contentious Trump administration proposal to give the US $500 million worth of profits from Ukraine's rare earth minerals as compensation for its wartime assistance to Kyiv. Instead, the US and Ukraine would have joint ownership of a fund, and Ukraine would be the future contribute 50% of future proceeds from state-owned resources, including minerals, oil, and gas. One official said the deal had better terms of investments, and another one said that Kyiv secured favorable amendments and viewed the outcome as positive. The deal does not, however, include security guarantees. One official said that this would be something the two presidents would discuss when they meet. The progress in negotiating the deal comes after Trump and Zelensky traded sharp rhetoric last week, but their differences over the matter. Zelensky said he balked at signing off a deal that U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent pushed during a visit to Kiev early this month, and the Ukrainian leader objected again days later during a meeting in Munich, which Vice President J.D. wants because the American proposal did not include security guarantees. But the two sides made significant progress during a 3-day visit to Ukraine last week by retired General Keith Kellogg, Trump's special envoy to Ukraine and Russia. The idea was initially proposed last fall by Zelensky as part of his plan to strengthen Kyiv's hand in future negotiations with Moscow. After reviewing the snow removal efforts, however, Chow is unimpressed, calling for the city crews to do better. Last week, I was repeatedly told that 100% of the sidewalk had been plowed. I was told that this morning. I was told that last week. On Friday, well, I'm sorry, it is not true, Chow told reporters on Tuesday morning. This is just unacceptable. We need to do more. We need to do better. The mayor pointed to seniors, those with mobility issues, and those pushing children in strollers who are struggling to move through the city's sidewalks as a result, citing them as part of her reason for bringing forth concerns to the next executive committee and request the city manager to conduct a fulsome review of its winter maintenance operations. Chow acknowledged the painstaking work that goes behind snow removal efforts in the wake of the major snowstorm, but provided recommendations and requests she feels will assist with future winter events. On top of a full review of its winter maintenance operations, Chow is requesting that City Manager Paul Johnson determine whether private winter maintenance contractors have upheld their obligations under their contract as part of his review, and also evaluate all options to improve winter maintenance work, including renegotiating or breaking existing contracts. Additionally, she is requesting an investigation into the gap between the city reports of fully cleared sidewalks and the reality of which residents have seen a plow go down that walk, and an evaluation of how to make improvements. The mayor is also calling on city's general manager and auditor general to investigate the handling of the major winter storm early this month and determine whether the city had actually incorporated the auditor general's recommendations to address this storm. In 2020, the Auditor General found the city could have saved $24 million over 5 years in terms of contractor deals. Home specified they would not receive standby payment on top of the payment for the actual time spent on work, as well as an estimated $7.1 million in overpayments to contractors for unperformed work as required over the same period. The following year, City Council approved 11 contracts for one contractor to deliver winter maintenance, with 11 new contracts launching in November 2022, lasting for 7 years. In 2022, briefing the city said new operations will use GPS and performance metrics to keep contractors accountable, including using dash camera footage and insurance rebate and volume discounts. A year later, Toronto's Auditor General revealed its findings of said contracts, finding the city had not actually made as much progress as it claimed, releasing its report. At the same time, a variance report revealed the city overspent on winter maintenance to the tune of $26.4 billion the previous year. Management had said some of the delays related to equipment shortages brought on by the pandemic, saying the city anticipates its goals to be fully realized in time for the 2023 to 2024 winter season. The auditor also investigated nearly $1.5 billion worth of winter maintenance contracts awarded by Council in December 2021. Two companies and their joint venture scored 88% of the 10-year contract value, prompting 5 other suppliers to file disputes. Addressing the concerns of the city's 7-year contract signed in 2021, Councillor Paul Ansley told reporters on Tuesday he did his due diligence conducting research by way of calling snow removal companies because he couldn't understand how this was going to be achieved. Police in Peel region have arrested 2 men from Innisfil, Ontario, who are facing multiple charges after a kidnapping in Mississauga left a 27-year-old victim bound and seriously injured. Officers responded to disturbance call around 8 p.m. on Saturday in the area of Blackwood Mews and Golden Locust Drive. When they arrived, police say they found the victim who was bound by his hands and feet. He was taken to a local hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Officials say they were able to locate the suspects a short time distance from the scene and take them into custody. Police have charged 33-year-old Devonnie Williams Sr. and 31-year-old Dalton Williams Sr. with multiple offenses, including kidnapping, extortion, aggravated assault, and theft. Both men were held for bail hearings at the Ontario Court of Justice in Brampton. Investigators say the victim and the suspects knew each other and believe the attack was targeted. Police are still searching for additional suspects. Police are asking anyone with the information to contact Peel Police or provide anonymous tips through Crime Stoppers. York Regional Police are appealing for witnesses after an armed carjacking in Vaughan that saw 4 masked suspects steal a luxury SUV at knife point. Police say the incident happened on Monday around 10 p.m. in a plaza parking lot near Highway 7 West and Marycroft Avenue. The victims told police they were sitting inside their white 2020 Jaguar F-Pace SVR when the suspects approached armed with knives. According to a media release, the attackers pulled the 2 occupants from the vehicle, demanded the keys, and fled in the Jaguar. The victims were not seriously injured, police said. Investigators say the stolen vehicle has Ontario license plate BP-SC 711. It is white with a black rims and a loud exhaust. Police describe the suspects as 4 black males who are wearing masks. Police are asking anyone with surveillance or dashcam footage from the area to come forward. Anyone with information is urged to contact the York Regional Police Hold Up Unit or provide anonymous tips through Crime Stoppers. York Regional Police have arrested a Richmond Hill man in connection with an email fraud case, and investigators say they believe there may be additional victims who have not yet come forward. On Wednesday, January 29, 2 victims reported that they received unsolicited emails which stated that they owed money to businesses. Police report that the emails allowed the suspects to get access to the victims' computers and make it appear as if they accidentally received $45,000. After advising the victims that they needed to pay the money back, the suspect would then go to their homes to pick up the cash in person, police say. A search warrant was executed at a Richmond Hill home on February 20th, resulting in the suspect's arrest and the recovery of a large quantity of cash, according to police report. Zio Su, a 31-year-old male, have been charged with 2 counts of fraud over $5,000 and 2 counts of possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000. If you believe you are a victim or have any information, please contact York Regional Police at 1-866-876-5423 extension 6612 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. Progressive Conservative leader Doug Ford highlighted the renewed threat of U.S. tariffs Tuesday to hammer home the central message of his campaign in the final days of the snap election. Ford, who has painted himself as the best choice to safeguard Ontario's economy, zeroed in on U.S. President Donald Trump's latest comments on the looming tariffs during a campaign stop in Ottawa, stressing the province needs to be ready for anything over the next 4 years. Trump said Monday the tariffs, which were pushed back to the March 4th after Canada agreed to introduce new security measures at the border, are going forward on time on schedule. His executive order calls for 25% tariffs on all Canadian imports with a lower 10% levy on Canadian energy. Ford mused Tuesday about making Americans pay more for the electricity Ontario sends to the United States in response to any levies. We are reviewing the cost of electricity we are sending down there. And if he puts tariffs on anything in Canada or Ontario, they are getting a tariff on their electricity, Ford said. And then we will go to the next stage and we will wait to see what happens from there. He gave no further details on the proposed measure or how it would fit in with his previously announced plan to cut off energy exports to the US should Trump move forward with sweeping tariffs next week. Ford said he doesn't want a tariff war, but if someone comes in and starts attacking our families, attacking our businesses, and attacking anything we do in Canada, that's it. I'm full in there. Ford gave a similar response when asked whether he had concerns about forging ahead with $100 million deal with Elon Musk's SpaceX. After the Reuters news agency reported the US has threatened to cut off Ukraine's access to Starlink satellite internet system as it pushes for access to the country's critical minerals. Early this month, when Canada was expecting US tariffs to come into place, Ford promised to rip up the contract, which would see the company deliver high-speed internet to remote areas for northern Ontario. That was part of a broader proposal to ban American companies with provincial contracts until U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods were withdrawn. That ban, along with the scrapping of the Starlink deal, was put on hold when the levies were postponed. Ford has made economic stability in the face of possible tariffs the centerpiece of his campaign, arguing he needs a stronger mandate to navigate the next 4 years of the Trump presidency. But the other party leaders have called the $189 million election unnecessary, given by the progressive conservatives already held a majority and would have received support for stimulus measures. Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie said Tuesday that Ford should have diversified Ontario's economy and worked to eliminate interprovincial trade barriers a long time ago, once again accusing him of calling the election for personal gain. Asked whether she would, as Premier, leverage Ontario's electricity exports in a potential trade war, Crombie said it's important to remember how integrated the province's energy grid is with states across the border. Crombie spent most of her news conference fielding questions about her endorsement of federal Liberal leadership candidate Mark Carney 2 days before the provincial election. She said the presumed front-runner is the right person for this moment in time. He's a leader that can stand up to Donald Trump and speak with some authority and experience on tariffs, she said. Carney thanked Crombie for her endorsement in a social media post, writing, "Wishing you the best this Thursday and let's keep building." Asked whether she interprets that as an explicit endorsement from Carney in return, Crombie said, "I certainly do." Carney's team did not immediately respond when asked whether his tweet was an endorsement. With only days to go until Ontarians head to the polls, the leaders of the four major parties are making a final push to get their messages out. NDP leader Marit Stiles began her day in London, Ontario on Tuesday before stopping in Cambridge and Waterloo on her way back to Toronto. Green Party leader Mike Schneer spent a second consecutive day in Ontario's cottage country, starting with a news conference in Huntsville alongside the candidate for Parry Sound Muskoka, Matt Richer.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.